seemingly has made the Elimination Chamber worse. We are live, man! Who actually cared about SmackDown tonight? By the reaction on social media, I'm going to say nobody. WWE had SmackDown at least have some importance tonight with some stakes on the line. The Elimination Chamber is now set for the blue brand, but WWE has made it seem all too predictable. Kevin Owens remains in the title picture. Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, and Jey Uso round out the chamber field. Tonight, I'm going to discuss what WWE should have done with the SmackDown Elimination Chamber. Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks are somehow best friends all of a sudden. And Nia Jax and her whole make an appearance on what was a lackluster episode of Friday Night SmackDown. We're going to go over it all, plus your SmackDown news and rumors on the only podcast you need on your Friday night. This is the SmackDown Post Show right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on the SmackDown Post Show. This is Off the Script. Friday, February 12th, 2021. You know, I want to do as little of a complaining job or a little bit of a rant than I usually do. Because I have a headache tonight, and I don't really feel like being too ranty. But I feel like I have no choice but to be ranty on WWE. Tonight on SmackDown, WWE had nothing going in. They advertised the return of Seth Rollins, which I, quite frankly, don't care about. Rollins is such an irrelevant figure on this show. Him being on this show means absolutely nothing. The show did not miss anything when he wasn't there. The show is now better now that he's back. Rollins is irrelevant. So if everybody's saying, oh, Rollins is back, that's fine. To you, he might add something. To me, doesn't matter if he's there or not. I, quite frankly, don't give a shit. But WWE tonight, they tried to make SmackDown feel important. WWE had stakes on the line. I'm not talking about a steak that you'd get at Bobby Flay Steakhouse in Atlantic City, New Jersey at the Borgata Casino, which is delicious, by the way. Delicious. Nobody knows his spices better than Bobby Flay, man. Maybe Titus, but that's another story. There were stakes on the line. And the Elimination Chamber is now set for SmackDown. Now, there were rumors that WWE wasn't gonna go with another Elimination Chamber. There was possible thoughts of maybe doing a women's chamber. Maybe a women's chamber for Asuka. Or maybe Sasha. Maybe Asuka and Sasha in the Elimination Chamber defending their respective championships. That clearly is not happening. WWE went another way with 2 men's chambers and 0 women's chambers. Either way, I don't care. But what WWE did tonight is, again, just like what they did on Monday, the laziest of jobs to get people excited about the Elimination Chamber, and the laziest of jobs just showing you right there in plain sight that they have not one fucking clue as to what they are doing. There is no conceivable way that anybody could tell me, well, this is just what it is. There's no conceivable way that you could tell me that this is the best that WWE has to offer on the road to WrestleMania. There's no way. There's absolutely no way you could possibly look me in the eyes and say that with a straight face. WWE set the field for the Elimination Chamber. On SmackDown, we got Cesaro and Daniel Bryan qualifying in a tag team match. A lot of tag team matches on tonight's show. For a company that hates fucking tag team wrestling. A lot of tag team matches tonight, man. I thought I was watching Dynamite Light tonight on Friday night. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro qualify for the Elimination Chamber. They beat Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Then we got Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn. They qualify. Yes, Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn. Love them to death, but do they deserve to be in the Elimination Chamber? Give me a fucking break, people. I mean, Baron Corbin's been on and off losing to Dominik Mysterio. On what fucking planet does Baron Corbin deserve a spot in the Elimination Chamber? Just by that alone, it's a fucking joke. Sami Zayn is a resident loser on this show. Just lost an IC title feud, I guess. Losing an IC title feud opens him up for a world title situation now. Apparently, Bruce Pritchard doesn't know when somebody should get momentum and when somebody should not be getting momentum. Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin in the Elimination Chamber. Then we got Adam Pearce picking 2 people of his own, stating that one of them deserves it, or both guys deserve it, I guess, but I'll get into that a little bit later. He chose Kevin Owens and Jey Uso to be inside the Elimination Chamber, so that's the field of 6. Now, what we got at the beginning of the show was Adam Pearce out there, and his original plan was to announce that Roman Reigns would be defending the Universal Championship inside the Elimination Chamber against 5 other guys. So Paul Heyman stepped in and he gave Adam Pearce his spiel. And they came up with a solution where it would be 6 guys, not Roman, 6 guys, and the winner of that Elimination Chamber would get a shot at Roman Reigns immediately after the chamber is over, on the same night of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, which is next Sunday. I have a problem with this, folks. I have a problem with this, and I will tell you why I have a problem with this. WWE, at this point, should have already had Edge go out there and express himself about WrestleMania. WWE should have had Edge go out there and state who he is challenging immediately after he won the Royal Rumble. Now, I'm an old school head, okay? I don't like the fact that WWE allows Edge or anybody who wins the Royal Rumble, Bianca, could be anybody. I don't like that they allow these individuals to go on Raw, on SmackDown, and on NXT to tease who they're going after at WrestleMania. It sucks. Okay? I don't like it because of situations that we're in now. Now, it might be unpredictable to you. It might be fresh. It might be story to you. It might drag things out to your liking. It drags things out, and all it does is give WWE the uncertainty of what they actually need to do. They don't know what the fuck they want to do. Now they got 3 different options because they got Bianca and Edge showing up on 3 fucking shows instead of actually doing what should be done and challenging the person on their respective brand. Edge should be challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Bianca Belair should be challenging Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's Championship. All it does is give WWE now 3 options instead of 1. It actually makes their job harder. And it shouldn't be harder, but it is harder because these people are a bunch of fucking idiots. They don't know what they need to do. You present these people with fucking 3 different flavors of ice cream, there's going to be 72 different fucking ideas about what actually needs to be done. You listen to me, I'll tell you what needs to be done in about 5 seconds. Edge and McIntyre, Bianca and Sasha, call it a day. That's it. That opens everything up to make a little bit more sense. You could have had Drew McIntyre and Edge and Roman Reigns defend the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber because Edge chose the Raw champion. Okay, fine. McIntyre's going to WrestleMania. Edge is going to WrestleMania challenge the Raw champion, the WWE title. So Drew McIntyre, just by that, get him out of the Elimination Chamber equation. He could wrestle Sheamus at the Elimination Chamber. That leaves Roman open to defend the WWE Championship inside the Elimination Chamber. Or better yet, this is what I would do. Maybe the Elimination Chamber is saved for Roman Reigns and the challenger to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Meanwhile, you could do Roman defending the title against somebody at the Elimination Chamber. So what I'm suggesting WWE should have done is give Edge the opportunity to challenge for the title on the brand that he is associated with. Everybody's so enamored about Edge and Roman Reigns. Let me tell you something, folks. It's not all that it's cracked up to be. You're creating an illusion. You're creating this fantasy idea that just isn't there. The ratings aren't really showing that people actually give a shit about this. WWE should have realized that Edge showing up on Raw, showing up on SmackDown, showing up on NXT is literally doing nothing for ratings. So why are we prolonging this man's decision? Oh, but it's story. What story? The fact that the WWE is failing every single week as far as the ratings are concerned, yet I got some fucking suit and tie lying to me about, oh, the audience is still there. Oh, the audience is still there. All the same number of eyes are on the product. Blow me. No, they're not. There is so many more people that are just disenfranchised like me about the actual fucking product. What is the problem? Why are we prolonging what should have already been announced? What WWE did tonight was sheer laziness. Absolute laziness. Instead of challenging Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, they're giving this championship match away at the Elimination. Why are you making things more difficult than they actually need to be? How are you actually going, this is what I stated on Monday, how are you actually going to determine Roman Reigns' opponent at WrestleMania? Is it going to be Edge? If Edge challenges Roman, then I ask the same question about Drew McIntyre. Who is challenging Drew McIntyre for the WWE title? By what means is Drew McIntyre going to get a match at WrestleMania? All you had to do was have Edge show up on Raw, challenge Drew because he won the Royal Rumble, and save the chamber for SmackDown, and the winner of that chamber challenges Roman at WrestleMania. Sometimes the most convoluted road is not the right answer. Convoluted roads lead to uncertainty. Convoluted roads lead to bad creative decisions. Convoluted roads lead to logic gaps. Convoluted roads lead to shitty television. So what WWE did tonight was give you shitty television and make Elimination Chamber somehow worse than it already was. I don't understand why Roman Reigns needs to challenge the winner of the Elimination Chamber immediately after the Chamber is over on the same night that man competed in a fucking Elimination Chamber match. Now, with the names involved here, it's certainly not going to be Daniel Bryan. Because why would you waste Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns after the Chamber is over? Why would you give away a potential WrestleMania match as a nothing match after the pay-per-view is over next week? Baron Corbin's not winning it. Sami Zayn is not winning the Elimination Chamber. Jey Uso's not winning the Elimination Chamber. Daniel Bryan, I would assume, not wins the Chamber. Kevin Owens? How many fucking times have we seen Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns? Give me a fucking break. That only leaves one man, and all signs are pointing to Cesaro. Will Cesaro go over in the Elimination Chamber? And will Cesaro push Roman Reigns to the limit after being in the Elimination Chamber, making him look better than he has before in the last 10 years? I don't know. It's one of two options that I have in my mind right now. They could go with Cesaro. Cesaro, it all makes sense about Cesaro. He's hot. He beat Daniel Bryan. He would be a great opponent for Roman Reigns, whether it's now or at SummerSlam. It doesn't fucking matter. Cesaro is a great opponent. This should have happened fucking 7 years ago. So Cesaro and Roman, that's definitely an option. I could also see Daniel Bryan in some weird twist. I could see Daniel Bryan winning it, and then Seth Rollins come and fuck over Daniel Bryan, leading to them wrestling at WrestleMania. Then Cesaro gets another shot at Roman at Fastlane, and then Edge, somehow, in between all this, challenges Roman at WrestleMania. Again, I ask, who does Drew McIntyre get at WrestleMania? All of this could have been avoided. This is not unpredictable. It is just shitty television. Edge is doing nothing for the ratings. Nothing. Him showing up on Raw, who gives a fuck? WWE doesn't do anything right on that show. They got the lowest rating in the last 2 months this past Monday. So who exactly are they catering to? NXT got a dismal rating with him there. He's not a fucking draw. So why are you prolonging this? I don't understand why they're prolonging like it's some good, captivating television. Nobody gives a fuck. They want the answers now. You should have given us the answers, because the answers, when we get them, it makes your life easier. With Edge deciding right away who his opponent was going to be at WrestleMania, it would open the door for you to be creatively more free and to be creatively more logical going into the Elimination Chamber. But I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just some schmuck on YouTube who yells into a fucking microphone. WWE could have absolutely gone in a different route and make everything a little bit more organic, a little bit more natural. But they opted to go in this direction that is, I don't want to say steering people away from WrestleMania, because it is WrestleMania, but I think a lot of people are on the brink of impatience. And I think a lot of people in the online community are like me, who are asking, why? What the fuck? Why are you doing it this way when all signs point to it being the other way? The better way. That's SmackDown in a nutshell, folks. That's SmackDown in a nutshell. I don't understand why they just don't go with the solid and true road. Why everything's got to be, oh, let's do this. It's different. It's unpredictable. They won't know what's coming. Edge is not a draw. Edge shouldn't be on 3 shows. It looks fucking desperate. Yeah, let's get him on SmackDown because we'll pop a bigger rating. Let's put him on NXT. Maybe that'll be a difference maker against AEW. And then Edge was on Monday Night Raw. What happened? The lowest rating in 2 months. Nobody gives a fuck about Edge and his chase for a world title. Just fucking announce the goddamn match and get WrestleMania started already. That's my opening statement. You don't like it? Kiss my ass. I'm about the old school here, man. I'm about logic. I'm about things making sense. Straightforward. All these twists and turns. None of it makes sense, and none of it, quite honestly, is any good. None of it. Roman Reigns should be at the Chamber defending his title against a Nakamura or another match with Kevin Owens or Cesaro or somebody. And the Chamber should be set up for him to find his number 1 contender. Edge should be challenging Drew, 1 match down. Bianca should be challenging Sasha, 2 matches down. And Roman should have his opponent at the end of that night. You should have 3 to 4 matches already planned and booked by the time the Elimination Chamber is over. We have 0. Because WWE thinks they're creating captivating television, and all they're doing right now is driving the audience away because they even realize that none of this shit makes sense. Thank you guys very much for joining me here on Off the Script. It is Friday, February 12th, 2021. Want to shout out Vinny Vegas. I was on his podcast this afternoon, or this evening, 7 p.m., right before SmackDown went off the air or on the air. I was on his podcast, Pounding the Meat. Quite the name of the podcast, Pounding. I should have asked him what the name actually means. I don't know if he's a butcher. I don't know what Pounding the Meat means, but I had a blast. And we talked about some old school. We talked about some new school. We talked about JD. We gave a lesson on how to treat trolls. It was awesome. It was awesome. I'll leave you guys a link down in the comment section as soon as this video publishes to YouTube to go check it out. So I want to thank him for his time and for him inviting me on the show to hang out tonight on Pounding the Meat and his podcast, man. So shout out to Vinny Vegas. If you guys want to check out anything on this channel, everything you need is linked down below in the description below. Anything you missed video-wise is linked down there. All the official playlists down right there in the description. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you are new coming over from Vinny Vegas, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button as well. We do this live stream thing about 3 days a week for when there's a pay-per-view. Speaking of which, there'll be a pay-per-view on Sunday night. NXT TakeOver and Vengeance Day. Instead of Valentine's Day or St. Valentine's Day Massacre or just Vengeance, Triple H opted with Vengeance Day. So we got TakeOver on Sunday night. Solid card. I will be live on YouTube to cover that show Sunday night, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Obviously, we got SmackDown tonight, and then we got Off the Script tomorrow at 5 p.m., episode 364. So thank you for all the supports. If you want to support other ways, there are ways to do that. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. Shout out to all my patrons out there. Shout out to all my peeps in the Off the Script Discord. I appreciate you all. If you guys want to go get your masks, mouthmasker.com/OTS for your masks. The new black mask is still in stock. That's mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go and get your t-shirts at bonfire.com, the exclusive home of this very podcast of Off the Script. And make sure you guys go and check out my sponsor for today's show. And we got a new one, folks. Amazon Music. I don't know what you guys use when you listen to your music, man. I'm a Spotify guy. I've been with Spotify Premium for many years. And Amazon is also a great way to listen to your music. But Amazon Music is giving you guys, and I love giving shit away for free, man. I really do. Amazon Music is giving you guys 30 days free of their entire service, man. No questions asked. All you got to do is go to getamazonmusic.com/script. Sign up today, get 30 days free, listen to whatever you want, and if you like the service, you can stay on, which I hope you do. getamazonmusic.com/script, and I want to thank them for supporting the podcast right here on Off the Script. You can even listen to Off the Script on Amazon Music, as we are now on Amazon Music. So go check that out. getamazonmusic.com/script. We got a lot of news on top of the SmackDown coverage tonight, guys. I want to start off with this one. There was a tweet from WrestleVotes that went out about 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8 o'clock, when SmackDown was live. And they reported that WWE talent and crew backstage at SmackDown were said to be very unhappy and downright angry. Now, there are many reasons for them to be unhappy and angry. Maybe Titus didn't serve the baked ziti like he said he would. He said baked ziti on Tuesday, and then he changed it to fish and chips on Friday. I would be upset about that. I don't even eat fish. I'd be like, yo, Titus, the fuck is going on here? I asked for baked ziti with the nice mozzarella and the fucking red sauce, right? And you got fucking fish and chips over it. Who the fuck wants fish and chips, man? Go to overseas. At least give me the fucking Guinness if you're going to give me the fish and chips. But the WWE talent is unhappy and angry. Now, the mood backstage at SmackDown is not good, according to WrestleVotes. WrestleVotes reports that a source told them that there is unhappiness and straight-up anger backstage, and it's at an all-time high level, and this includes the talent and the crew backstage. It's not clear what caused all of this, but it was noted earlier that WWE has yet to announce a match for SmackDown before it went on the air. All they did was advertise Seth Rollins and then a big announcement for Roman Reigns. The mood backstage is a drastic change from just a couple of weeks ago when the morale was said to be very positive because it's the start of the road to WrestleMania, and people were starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel with the pandemic. So WrestleVolt says this, and I quote, just got a text from a source in St. Petersburg, Florida. The unhappiness and straight-up anger backstage is at an all-time high level. Everyone from the boys to the road crew are pissed off. Not a good look, end quote. Now, I don't really know what this means, but I did some investigative work and I was digging around. And apparently it was reported by Sean Ross Sapp that WWE is not giving out raises or bonuses this year. I don't know what that means. I don't know why they wouldn't be giving bonuses or any extra pay. But if that is the case, WWE has royally fucked up. They got a $1 billion deal from NBC Universal. They got another $1 billion from Peacock, NBC Universal, for the WWE Network to be streamed on Peacock for the next 5 years. They got $1 billion from SmackDown because of their Fox deal. $3 billion in revenue from TV deals. Then you got the dirty Saudi money, which we haven't had one of those shows all year because of the pandemic. But that's another $500 million is what I read many months ago. So I don't understand why WWE can't give their talent and their backstage crew raises and bonuses. You do realize that these people came to work and have to put up with all the bullshit about protocol and COVID this and restriction that and mask this, right? Creating an environment where people need to work, are forced to do these things in order to work, come to work with the risk of getting sick. And this, I hope everything is a lot better now, but this was happening when they were running out of the gymnasium at the Performance Center, where people were calling out, people refused to work, some people didn't even bat an eyelash. They came to work and did what they were asked to do. But you asked everybody, and I'm sure you fear-mongered everybody. You put fear in everybody that if they didn't come to work, they'd either get fined, suspended, they'd lose their job, they'd lose their spot on TV. So not only did WWE actually instill fear in everybody that if they didn't come to work, all these things could potentially happen to them. So they forced these people to come to work against their better judgment and their goodwill, potentially risking illness, death, taking that shit home to their families, feeling guilty afterwards if they went to work and then went home sick and gave it to somebody else. But no, you don't want to give raises out. You don't want to give bonuses out for all the people that did not question any of your goings-on, that didn't even bat an eyelash. They came to work, did their job, did what they needed to do for you, put their life on the line for you, and you don't want to compensate. Doesn't really sound like a good work environment to me, if you ask me. Doesn't really sound like it's an ideal working situation for anybody there. Doesn't really sound like it's a pleasant work environment for somebody maybe contemplating going to the WWE. Maybe somebody's contract's coming up on Impact, or maybe somebody from AEW wants to jump ship. Maybe some independent talent out there looking to break into the WWE. He hears this, maybe gives him second thoughts. Doesn't really raise a good morale, not only within the WWE, but everybody looking to potentially sign with the WWE. I don't see how this is a good business move. All it shows is that Vince McMahon and every fucking corporate cocksucker underneath him is a greedy fuck, and they would rather hoard the money than give the talent any type of compensation. What type of boss is that? Sounds like a fucking asshole to me. Sounds like a greedy son of a bitch, if you ask me. What is he doing with the money? Is he gonna die with the money? Vince? Does Bruce really need another fucking meal? That fat slob? Does he really need another fucking polyester suit? Bruce Pritchard. I am really upset about this story. These fucking men and women are breaking their back and you don't want to compensate them. What a downright dirty fucking scummy company is WWE. You'll throw that money on fucking fireworks for Charlotte Flair, but you won't give fucking people compensation. Unreal. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but if I know anything about Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp, they're not going to report bullshit. What a shitty company they are, huh? Anyway, we'll get into the rest of the news. I got a ton of news on several individuals on the roster. So we'll hit them as we get to their individual segments on tonight's show. SmackDown opened up with Roman Reigns, of course, the head of the table. Means he starts SmackDown. He was accompanied by Paul Heyman. So they showed a clip of Edge saying on Monday that he was waiting for the Elimination Chamber before making his announcement. Oh, yeah. You're waiting for the Chamber to make your announcement. Good on you, buddy. Cole said that made Reigns even more upset. Adam Pearce stood in the middle of the ring, looking very anxious. He was looking very intimidated because of Roman Reigns. And you know their previous history the last couple of weeks. So, Roman Reigns noted that Pearce looked nervous. So he said he didn't have an authority over him. You are here to wait on me, he said. I am the sun. Everything orbits me. Yeah, I love these lines that Roman Reigns gives out every fucking week, man. I mean, that's great. I am the sun. Everything orbits around me. I love it. It's exactly what a fucking prick would say. You're here because of me. Understand that. You wait on me. I don't wait on you. And I most certainly don't wait on Edge. A fucking seed planted right there. You know Edge is going to choose Roman. You just know it. He said he saw Edge last week and he looked me in the eye and got scared. He said he got scared because he knows what I will do to him. I will beat him down so bad, we'll have to put him on a Legends contract. He'll have to be just an ambassador for WWE when I'm done with him. Said Edge waiting until after Elimination Chamber is a ploy because he hopes someone beats him in the meantime. He said he keeps the title on his shoulder no matter what, and it will happen as long as he wants it to. Now, with Edge and Roman, again, not my ideal match, but with Edge and Drew McIntyre, I feel like there's a possibility with Drew McIntyre going and defending that title in the chamber. I feel like there's a possibility that WWE could give Randy Orton the WWE title, and in some weird fucking way, which would absolutely piss me off, and it should piss Drew McIntyre off if they do this as well, give Randy Orton the WWE title again. What would that be, the 15th time? 16th time? How many times has Randy Orton won a world championship? Give him the WWE title in the chamber, and then him coerce a match out of Edge at WrestleMania where Edge beats Randy Orton. If WWE really wants Edge to finish this story and have a feel-good ending at WrestleMania, I would rather see it against Randy Orton than against Roman Reigns. I would not mind Edge winning the WWE title if it was on Randy Orton. But I hope that that doesn't happen, because how much of a fuck you would that be to Drew McIntyre? Like, if you wanted that match to happen, you should have never taken the title off of Randy Orton last year in the first place. He won the title from Drew, and he should have remained champion all the way up until this point, with Edge then challenging Randy for the WWE title. You just can't put the title on him to give him another interim championship run and then have Edge take it off Randy Orton. What type of title runs are those for Randy Orton? Those are the title runs that I look back at someone and their career and say, those don't count. Because WWE just did that for their own personal gain, their own political agenda, and that person didn't really do anything in those reigns for those reigns to be warranted as title reigns. But there is a possibility that that situation can happen. So we asked Adam Pearce if he was out here to talk about the Elimination Chamber. You're out here to talk about the Elimination Chamber. And Adam Pearce said yes. And he has a contract that says Roman has to defend the WWE Universal title in the chamber, much like Drew has to defend the WWE title inside the Elimination Chamber. Reigns laughed and said, I'll deal, or I'll let you deal with this one, Paul. Take it over. Negotiate. So Heyman introduced himself to Adam Pearce, said he'd be happy to look at the document for them, but the document specifies the Elimination Chamber event has to be built around the Universal Champion, but it doesn't specify he has to defend the title in the chamber. So Pearce's reactions here, I really love Adam Pearce and the way he kind of carries himself. I think he is an interim GM. They're not going to label him as that, but as far as an authority figure, he actually knows, the type of body language he needs for these particular segments, facial expressions, they're all on point. He's done a great job. Adam Pearce has done a very good job. So Heyman said the winner of the Elimination Chamber will receive a Universal Heavyweight Championship match, not at Mania, but at the Elimination Chamber, after the chamber match is over on the spot. So Heyman seen that Adam Pearce was not happy about it, but he asked what he could do about it. What are you really going to do about it? This is Roman Reigns. What, are you going to fire Roman Reigns? Give me a break. So he said to his knowledge, WrestleMania last year was without Reigns, and he said, and I quote, it was the lowest attended WrestleMania of all time. I laughed. And if that made you laugh, it should have made you laugh. If you didn't find that one funny and you took it to be in all seriousness because of COVID, why don't you crack a fucking smile, man? You got a funny bone? The lowest attended WrestleMania of all time. Ha ha! Because Roman Reigns wasn't there. Now, if this Reigns missed WrestleMania, I'd be upset. Last year's Roman Reigns, he missed WrestleMania. Who gives a fuck? So Reigns smiled. He was admiring Paul Heyman negotiating with Adam Pearce. Pearce said that's the move, and it appears he has some work to do. He said, tonight, if you want to go this route, there'll be qualifying matches. He said, there are 2 wrestlers who don't need to qualify. Heyman said something about Bianca Belair, and same thing with Bianca. Do you ever shut up? Adam Pearce fired back at Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman was talking away from the microphone. Pearce revealed Jey Uso as the first participant in the Elimination Chamber. As he left the ring, he said the other wrestler that he has in mind, because he left the ring because Roman was advancing him. He didn't want to really be in the ring when he announced this next opponent because he knew it would anger Roman Reigns. The next guy I have in mind deserves an opportunity, and his name is Kevin Owens. So Adam Pearce was at ringside, back against the barricade. Reigns leapt out of the ring. He got in Pearce's face, and he says, listen, I don't care about Kevin Owens. I don't even give a shit about the Elimination Chamber. All I care about is you. He wanted to legitimately beat this guy's ass right there. Pearce stared back, but he looked scared. And he knew Roman wasn't going to do anything to him because Roman can't really jeopardize a fine or a suspension. Heyman tried to talk some sense into Reigns, calm him down. He said they shouldn't show their cards just yet. And he said, listen, it's just a suggestion. And that's the way the segment ended to open SmackDown. I enjoyed the segment. And again, folks, I feel like I've said this quite often in the last couple weeks. I'm not an idiot, okay? I know why WWE announced Jey Uso, and I know why they announced Kevin Owens inside the Elimination Chamber. I know why they did it. Because Pearce is trying to get under the skin and stack the deck and anger Roman Reigns. I get it. This is Adam Pearce getting back at Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns for their last stunt. Card subject to change, if you guys remember that. Last time we seen Reigns and Pearce in the ring, Roman Reigns was giving Adam Pearce a Superman punch. And Paul Heyman was faking an injury outside when he had a scheduled match against Adam Pearce. I get it. But for you to sell me on the fact that Kevin Owens deserves a spot in the Elimination Chamber, it's kind of far-fetched. Kevin Owens lost at TLC. Kevin Owens lost in a steel cage match on SmackDown, and Kevin Owens lost at the Royal Rumble. He's 0-3 against Roman Reigns. And he's not going to win the Elimination Chamber. He could win the Elimination Chamber, for all I know, and that would make him 0-4. Whoever wins the Chamber is losing to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is not losing the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns is walking into WrestleMania as the Universal Champion. Whoever wins this match is doomed. But you can't sell me on the fact that Kevin Owens deserves a Universal Championship match after he lost 3 times in a row against Roman Reigns. Now, granted, you could say that Kevin Owens was screwed because of a referee botch at the Royal Rumble, but even that, I think a lot of people are well past expiration date on Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. So you can't really sell me on that. Jey Uso, again, same thing. I get why he's there, but Jey Uso, he's lost his last 8 matches on SmackDown, or somewhere in that vicinity. He lost every match that he's been in the last 2 months. So he's not doing anything at the Royal Rumble. He's just there to give, I guess, Roman a shot at him winning so that he could lay down for Roman at the end, and Roman has no work to do with the Elimination Chamber. But I get why they're there. But it's a very tough sell on if they deserve to be there. Now, I do got news on Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns. Why is it still continuing? Why is WWE giving us yet another Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns possible match? Now, at the end of last week's show, Edge was on SmackDown, and Kevin Owens came out of nowhere and stunned Roman Reigns as SmackDown went off the air. So Dave Meltzer broke it down on why WWE is carrying on with Kevin Owens and his feud with Roman Reigns. He simply stated that they don't have anyone else right now in mind for Roman Reigns. Whose fault is that? Could have easily had Nakamura. You got Cesaro. Could have had anybody on that brand if you wanted to build them up for a quick match with Roman. So you're going back to Kevin Owens because there's nobody else in that spot. Whose fault is that? He says, and I quote, the idea is that they're trying to elevate somebody. They gotta. They have Big E, but Big E has the IC title. And I don't think he'll be wrestling Reigns anytime soon. Yeah, it's been bad ever since Reigns came back. They didn't really even push Owens. They just threw Owens in that spot because they had nobody else, and then they kept him in that spot because they got nobody else. They got nobody else unless they pull the trigger on Edge. End quote. So there you got it, folks. They got nobody else on SmackDown. Nobody. Kevin Owens actually stated that he is now a top guy because of his rivalry with Roman Reigns. He says he's a top guy in WWE again because of his rivalry with Roman Reigns. And I would absolutely agree with him 100%. He absolutely is. But I will say this. He's a top guy when he's in there with Reigns. And he's a top guy, has been a top guy for the last 3 matches with Roman Reigns and this story with Roman Reigns. But the thing is he going to remain a top guy when WWE eventually moves on from Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns? That's up to WWE Creative. It doesn't matter what Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns do right now, because anything that Roman Reigns touches turns to gold. It's what happens in the aftermath. Is WWE going to continue pushing Kevin Owens like they've done the last 2 months with Roman Reigns? And if the answer is no, then he won't be a top guy. So it's pretty easy for somebody to say that they're a top guy when they're in there with Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is easily the best thing in this entire company. Roman Reigns is the number one thing on SmackDown, and Roman Reigns is the best heel in the business right now. With Kenny Omega slowly creeping up closer to Roman Reigns. Not there yet. Roman's still number one. He spoke with Fox Sports, did Kevin Owens. Well, in a way, I don't feel like I ever really had to show it to people because I think people know by now. But the nature of our industry and the way things work and the amount of very talented people that we have on the roster just makes for an environment where you constantly have to prove your worth every single day, week after week, month after month, year after year. It's almost like people in the industry or the company take things for granted. Like, I think after all the years I put in, and I'm one of many, I'm not saying this just about myself, but there are guys where when the show goes on, the people in charge just know, oh, they're going to have a good match. They take it for granted because they know it's going to be a good match, or they're going to be able to tell this story great, or they're going to be able to deliver this promo great. But it becomes almost like it's expected of us because it's what we do. So then it's like, of course they had a good match. It's like not special almost. So once in a while you have to have these special performances that are a bit above what you usually deliver, even if what you usually deliver is good. And I'm like, we have a ton of men and women who do this on a weekly basis, but once in a while, you just need this one performance to make people take notice again. Like, oh, you know, he is really good. Or, oh, we could do something with this. So obviously this story with Roman was a big opportunity for me to do that again. End quote. It's a pretty insightful way that Kevin Owens really just gave you an inside glimpse of what's the inner workings of management really think in WWE. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns always had good rapport with each other. They've always had great matches together. It's not really that difficult to see. We didn't need this feud to know that they were a great match. They've wrestled many a time before. They had great matches when Roman Reigns was a babyface. It's all just accentuated now because the roles are reversed. Owens makes a great babyface. Owens can make a great heel, but he also makes a great babyface. Roman was a terrible babyface, but Roman has been the best heel in WWE in the last decade. Well, on the main roster. I can't do Tommaso Ciampa that dirty. He was phenomenal at what he did. But Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns always had a good balance. Good in-ring together. Good, together. They were good dance partners. So when he says that, I'm not surprised. And Roman Reigns, it goes to show you that Kevin Owens really wasn't doing much of anything, and all it took was for him to be in the ring with Roman. It shows you how good Kevin Owens is. We all knew Kevin Owens was good anyway before this. But now, even though we knew he was good, we knew that he could work in a top program and be the top guy, the top babyface. But it also shows that Roman is by far and away unbelievable at what he does. This is the type of guy that you need on your roster. You need about 4 or 5 Roman Reigns. He makes everybody look good just by his mere presence. I mean, everything this guy has done has been fucking unbelievable. And I'm not even talking about as far as an in-ring aspect. I'm talking about what he brings to his opponent, what he brings as far as story to the match, and how important he makes the overall story that he's in on television. He gives you all of that at the toppest, at the highest level, at the top of WWE. And there's nobody even close. And that's before he even steps in the ring. That's how good Roman Reigns has been. Moving on, man. We got the next segment. Sonya Deville. She was with Adam Pearce backstage, and she told Pearce that she was proud of him because he stood up to Reigns. Wow, that was incredible, she said. It's like you weren't even scared of the repercussions from Roman Reigns. He said they need to fill out the show with qualifiers. Sonya said she had an outside-of-the-box idea. A tag match where both members of the winning team qualified. So Adam Pearce says, I like it. Let's do it. She said the wrestlers involved are already on their way to the ring. So we got Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio versus Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn. The winners of this tag team match would go on to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn, they don't like each other, but they're two heels. And this is another way for WWE to squeeze out another match between Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio and Baron Corbin, as if we didn't see it enough times already. The match itself wasn't bad, but I was hoping that Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio would not win this match because I can't even fathom or envision Dominik Mysterio being in the Elimination Chamber. Like, what has he done to even deserve to be in a qualifying match? Never mind the Elimination Chamber. Same thing with Rey Mysterio. So Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn win here. Dominik and Sami tagged in. They got their respective hot tags. Graves was fantasizing about Dominik punching Rey Mysterio in the face and really just selling the aspect of, I want to see father and son do battle inside the Elimination Chamber. So they replayed Dominik crashing into the announce table earlier on. I didn't notice it at first, but during the replay, I noticed it. He actually went so far on the suicide dive that he nearly decapitated himself on the announce desk. It was awful. I hope he did not get a concussion from the suicide dive that he did on the outside. So he described, or Cole was going on about the Elimination Chamber. He described who made the Elimination Chamber a thing. He mentioned Eric Bischoff back in 2002. Don't know why Eric Bischoff is being name dropped on WWE television. Rather odd, I would say. It's in the notes. Jesse told me about it. Eric Bischoff being mentioned on WWE TV after he conveniently shit all over Chris Jericho and AEW. Rather bizarre. A coincidence? Maybe not. So Sami landed a Blue Thunder Bomb, still one of my most favorite moves in all of WWE. Absolutely beautiful is Sami's Blue Thunder Bomb. Rey and Dominik hit Corbin with a Stereo 619. Sami caught a charging Dominik, gave him an exploder suplex in the corner, and then gave him a haluva kick and pinned Dominik Mysterio for the 1, 2, 3. Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn qualify for the Elimination Chamber. Booyaka, booyaka, 619. Booyaka, booyaka. No Elimination Chamber for Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio. Now, I will say this before I get into the news. I got news on Baron Corbin. Why is Dominik on the main roster? It's what I want to know. Why is Dominik Mysterio on the main roster? What value does Dominik Mysterio bring? SmackDown. What are we doing with Dominik on the main roster? Is Dominik and Rey going to be a tag team? Are they going to go after the tag team titles? Like, what is their purpose on Friday night? They've done nothing but feud with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. Then they ended that because Rollins had to go have a baby. Buddy Murphy was taken off television. Aaliyah just disappeared. Aaliyah Mysterio just disappeared. Now we got this situation with Mysterio and Corbin. And I don't even know why the fuck they're feuding. You got the Knights of the Lone Wolf. One of them got fired last week. The other guy went missing. So what exactly are we doing with Rey and Dominik Mysterio? I'll tell you what we should be doing, and I don't really understand why this hasn't been done. Dominik should be down in NXT. Rey Mysterio should be escorting Dominik Mysterio out on NXT Wednesday nights. Dominik should be learning in NXT. Dominik should be molding his talents down in NXT. Dominik needs to be getting better in ring, getting better on the microphone in NXT. What is his value on the main roster? Why hasn't he, as young as he is, why is he not on NXT television doing what his father did all those years ago? Why is Dominik on the main roster and not on NXT challenging Legado del Fantasma, feuding with the Mysterio family? Why is Dominik not challenging Santos Escobar for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship? You got Escobar in this fucking makeshift, let's do this now to make Cross look bigger feud. You got him in a fucking feud with Karrion Kross. He's a cruiserweight. Cross is a mega heavyweight. What sense that makes, I don't know. But why isn't Dominik chasing the Cruiserweight Championship and winning the first title that his father won all those years ago? Legado del Fantasma and the Mysterios has a story that doesn't even need any brain work to have. It makes sense. You literally don't even need to think about piecing together a storyline. It's just there. Legado del Fantasma, they want to recreate the new version of Luchador in their image. Meanwhile, you got the greatest luchador of all time on your roster with his son. Don't you think that's a natural fit for television? The fuck is Dominik doing on SmackDown? Nothing. Nothing. Instead, WWE wants to bring Edge down to NXT, and they do nothing with Edge. No ratings pop. They don't even promote him. He's challenging Finn Balor, teasing Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Give me a break. Edge is not challenging Finn Balor, and he's not going after the NXT title. Give me a break. Baron Corbin. I got news on Baron Corbin. Well, not really Baron Corbin, but I got news on Booker T talking about Baron Corbin. Booker T says that Baron Corbin is a better king of the ring than Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, I'll let you sit on that for a second and get your LOLs in the chat while I take a sip of my cold beverage. Isn't that ridiculous? Isn't that ridiculous? Booker T says Baron Corbin is a better king of the ring than Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, he said this on his podcast, and he says this, and I quote, "You know, I'm just keeping it real. Outside of myself, King Booker was the most majestic king that has worn the crown. Whoever adorns the robe, the royal scepter, as well as the insignia. There was only one king, and I can really think about as far as that goes, you know, stepping up and honestly saying who is damn near a king of the ring and a good king of the ring, the best king of the ring, he mentions King Corbin. No, I'm serious, he says. I appreciate all the kings that have come along, but Corbin has really taken the role, just like I did. He's believed in the role to create, for me, my own world, the SmackDown world, the SmackDown kingdom. This is something that Corbin has been trying to recreate. So I give Corbin, a lot of the guys that wore the robe, they just wore the robe. They just wore the crown. I've talked to Steve Austin about it and the best kings about it. They got Steve Austin at number 1, best king of the ring poll. And I go, how does this happen? That's what the poll says. Fake polls. I would give best king to King Corbin. I would give King Corbin the rub, he says. Folks, I don't really know how to combat such idiocy. Okay? First of all, if Baron Corbin was such a great king of the ring, why haven't we had another king of the ring in which he enters the tournament and defends his crown? If you really want to label Baron Corbin as the best king of the ring, there needs to be another king of the ring in which he defends his crown in a meaningful manner. Number 1. Number 2, Baron Corbin was only given the king moniker because WWE was never going to put over Chad Gable in the king of the ring. They dropped the ball on that big time. And they only kept the king gimmick on Baron Corbin because Baron Corbin was as dull as dishwater without the king gimmick. He was a fucking constable, for Christ's sakes. I take a king over a constable. But he's been king for 2 years. You can't tell me that Baron Corbin is a better king of the ring than Steve Austin when Baron Corbin only won king of the ring because it was nothing more than a gimmick change. Steve Austin won king of the ring when he did and ushered in the Austin 316 era. It transformed his entire fucking career. He went on to have one of the best feuds in the modern fucking wrestling history with Bret Hart. And you mean to tell me that Steve Austin is not a better king than King Corbin? Are you fucking for real? The magnitude in which Austin catapulted himself from King of the Ring to win King of the Ring, to get that match with Bret Hart at the Survivor Series, to win the Royal Rumble the way that he did, get that match at WrestleMania 13 against Bret the Hitman Hart. It put him in the public limelight, and he never looked back until the day he retired. When Corbin can deliver a promo like Austin did with Doc Hendricks at the King of the Ring, then you can tell me that Baron Corbin is a better king of the ring. And when he's got all the accolades of Steve Austin, then you can tell me Baron Corbin's a better king of the ring. All I'm going to tell you right now is Baron Corbin is nothing more than a clown jester in Steve Austin's kingdom. And I honestly think Booker T just says shit to rile people up because he knows people are going to talk and they're going to mention his podcast and all other aspects of social media. Hey, look at what Booker T said on such and such podcast that he's on. He only did it for people to talk. Nobody could be that fucking stupid and nobody could be that delusional to go out there and state something that is obviously not even an opinion. It is fucking stupidity at that point. Moving on. We got Adam Pearce with Sonya Deville again backstage. They were watching Corbin and Zayn celebrate on a monitor. In walks Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. They made their pitch to be in the Elimination Chamber. Roode said if they win, there will be parades up from Florida to Thunder Bay. Because everybody wants to party with Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Does Dolph Ziggler ever get parades in regards to any? Has Dolph Ziggler even gotten a parade in his lifetime? Does anybody know who Dolph Ziggler is outside of WWE? Probably not. Same thing with Bobby Roode. So they made their pitch to be in the chamber. Deville asked if they wanted to be stuffed in the same pod. They clarified they wanted separate pods. Sonya said they just gave her and Adam Pearce an idea. You guys want to be in the chamber? You got to qualify. Your match tonight, Daniel Bryan and Cesaro. Good on you, Bruce. Good on you. You gave the match stakes. You made the match a qualifying match. But if you think people at this time in the show with this announcement thought that the team of Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler were going to qualify over Daniel Bryan and Cesaro, you might be the biggest fucking clown in the entire community. Why would you put your tag team champions in a match that 1,000% says they're going to lose? Why would you have your tag team champions, who right now are one of two teams legit on this show, why would you have your tag team champions lose after they just won the tag team titles from the Street Profits? Nobody finds an issue with that. Why are champions losing on television? Why don't you have any other people on this show to qualify for the Elimination Chamber? I don't understand it. Why does it got to be the tag team champions? I hate when champions lose on television. I really do. Sasha Banks was chatting with Lindsay Dorado. No, it wasn't Lindsay Dorado. It was Kalisto, I believe. Kalisto, not Lindsay Dorado. They are very good friends in real life, by the way. If you guys are wondering why Sasha and Kalisto are together backstage, they are very good friends. They go on vacation together. They train together. Obviously, Sasha and Mikaze with Kalisto and his wife. They go on vacations together, all four of them. So Reginald walked up to Sasha Banks with a glass of wine. He told her he was out of line last week, but it will never happen again. She asked if he meant what he said when he said she can't beat Bianca. She laughed and said she can send Carmella her regards. He gave her the wine, and that was it. I don't really understand what we're doing with Reginald and Sasha and the Women's Championship on SmackDown. Sounds like to me we're getting another Carmella and Sasha Banks match at the Elimination Chamber. I don't know what the fuck she's doing at the Chamber. We got 1 week till the Chamber. She's clearly not wrestling Bianca, unless WWE teased us with what we will be seeing at the Chamber a little bit later in that Sasha and Bianca segment. I don't know. Big E stood in the middle of the ring, and he gave a promo that was awesome. Big E gave an awesome promo, middle of the ring, said the odds were against him last week, but like Tom Brady on a boat parade, he was still standing. He said he vowed to be a fighting champion. He said as he put the Sami and Cruz chapter behind him, he didn't get another word out of his mouth after he mentioned Sami Zayn and Apollo Crews. He was interrupted by Apollo Crews. Crews walked out smiling and pointing his finger and talking to Big E as he walked down the aisle. Crews got in the ring. He said, listen, I know where you're going with this. I know you're going to put the title on the line in an open challenge, and I'm telling you right now, I am challenging you for the Intercontinental title, and I'm challenging you to this open challenge. I deserve another shot at the title. So they began arguing back and forth. Big E told him to shut up and listen. Crews said he won't shut up. He said, as long as you have that championship, I'm going to be here every single time. Big E then mouthed it off away from the microphone. They had the microphones down, but you heard every word out of their mouth. They weren't speaking into them directly, but you heard every word that they were saying. Big E said, you and me are done. Go to the back, go to catering. You did good, but you didn't get the job done. He was yelling at Apollo Crews, and Apollo was saying, go back to catering. How dare you tell me to go back to catering? Of all people, you know how hard I work. Of all people, you tell me to go backstage and get out of here. This was great. I want to see more of this back and forth the way that they did it tonight. It sounded natural. It sounded organic. That's the best Apollo Crews has sounded on the microphone, or I guess away from the microphone, either way you want to put it, in all of his WWE tenure. And Big E, I told you this, Big E could be funny, Big E could be cringe when he's dancing and doing the New Day shtick, but when Big E is serious, it is very difficult to argue that Big E is one of the best they got. When he's serious, he is fucking great. This is the Big E I want to see when he challenges Roman Reigns for the Universal title. That's the Big E. This back and forth between Apollo and Big E was great. More of this, please. And it looks like we may be getting Apollo Crews and a heel turn somewhere down the line. And I think that is going to really have him break out of this very vanilla, very just ordinary role that he's in. It's gonna elevate Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews has not been elevated, and all the things that WWE has done to elevate Apollo Crews, I don't think anything they've done has elevated Apollo Crews. You can put on great match after great match after great match, and Apollo Crews is a solid in-ring guy. But my God, man, his charisma is fucking garbage. This Apollo Crews is what I want to see. A more angry Apollo Crews, a more focused Apollo Crews. An Apollo Crews that walks with intent is what I want to see. So we'll see what happens there, man. So we did get an open challenge. Big E versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This was good for the time they were in there, but not really much happened for me to gauge whether it was really good or really bad. We got a no contest or a DQ of sorts when we got Nakamura. This was silly. Big E was in the corner. He's usually in the corner. He waits for his opponents to charge, and then he catches them with a Uranagi. Nakamura was charging at him to go for a Kinshasa. And I caught this immediately. I don't know why this was produced in the way that it was produced. If you guys remember what you watched tonight, Big E was in the corner. Nakamura was running towards Big E with the Kinshasa attempt. Instead of Big E being in the middle of the ring and Shinsuke Nakamura running and delivering the Kinshasa, or at least trying to, Big E was in the corner all the way in the opposite end. Nakamura ran, and then he got caught with the Uranagi, but he never really delivered the Kinshasa. He was, in theory, going to deliver a Kinshasa, but he never really delivered or attempted to deliver a Kinshasa. So Big E caught a stupidly running Nakamura in a Uranagi and slammed him down. Big E should have been placed in the middle of the ring with Nakamura at least trying to attempt a Kinshasa. And if not, he would be running, and Big E at least would have caught him halfway instead of him running all the way for him to not deliver the Kinshasa and still get caught in the Uranagi. It looked very silly. You got to go back and watch it to understand what I'm talking about. So Apollo Crews was on the outside. Big E set up for the big ending, but Apollo Crews came in and attacked Big E. This led to a disqualification or no contest. So with him being out there, you could definitely see where this was going. But Crews is going to be a good heel. He's got that heel tendency working for him right now, but he's got that chip on his shoulder where he wants to prove to Big E he can do it. And if we get another match with Big E and Apollo Crews out of it for the Elimination Chamber, I'm all for it. I really am. I think that would be a great way to just cap off this Big E and Apollo Crews situation. And that's the point where Apollo Crews could turn heel, lose the match because Big E's not losing that title, and beat him down at the end of the match, solidifying his heel turn. Apollo Crews has turned to the dark side. Can't wait to see if that happens. We got the return of Seth Rollins. We are going to talk about Seth Rollins in just a little bit, guys, but I'm going to step away for a good 60 seconds, and I want to show you guys what we got coming up with the CNC. We got the CNC resuming filming this coming weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. We got some special guests lined up, and we're going to wrap up the second half of the first season, man. It's coming along beautifully. If you guys don't know what the CNC is, critiques and connoisseurs. Me and Big Hodge, my boy Jason, and I are going to be sitting down, talking wrestling and drinking the finest liqueurs you could possibly find, man, with that pro wrestling analytic talk. Two good buddies just talking about their favorite WWE superstars and their favorite drinks, man. The CNC, this is Critiques and Connoisseurs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the debut episode of Critiques and Connoisseurs. This is episode number 1. I am JD from New York.
And I am Big Hodge. Yes, Big Hodge.
We are here at Magic Hour, rooftop bar, Moxley Hotel. We got New York City overlooking us. Empire State Building is immediately to our left.
West Wing, brother.
And today, my friends, we're going to be talking about The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and we're going to be talking about his newest venture with Terramana Tequila.
Electrifying.
It really is. It really is. Coming soon, man. Critiques and connoisseurs. Thank you guys for joining me on SmackDown tonight, man. For the post show, we got 1,500 live in the chat. Must have been a slow night for SmackDown, man. Usually I have closer to 2,000, but this just goes to show you that a lot of people are just disenfranchised with the product. It is not good at the moment, man. It really is not good at the moment. We got 524 likes. Hit that thumbs up, guys. It definitely helps out the channel, helps out the video if you hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 750. And the super chats are open, so get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. Super chats are open, so get them on in. You can ask anything you want. We'll go over them at the end of the show. And make sure you guys definitely sign up for Amazon Music, man. Every little bit counts. I want to blow the competition away, man. Giving you something for free just for listening to the show. How great is that? Get AmazonMusic.com/script. Who doesn't like free shit? Really, go and get it and go and check it out. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is back on WWE television. Now, I said it in the beginning, I'm going to say it again. Rollins being there and Rollins not being there makes absolutely no difference to me whatsoever. I don't know why anybody looks at Seth Rollins as being a big deal. I look at Roman Reigns on top of the wrestling world right now, and he is easily the best thing in all of wrestling right now. Jon Moxley is the face of All Elite Wrestling. Jon Moxley has had one hell of a run in AEW. And he was their world champion. And Seth Rollins, what is Seth Rollins doing? What has Seth Rollins done? What impact has Seth Rollins made while his two buddies are on top of the wrestling world in their respective companies? He's not doing much of anything. Now, I didn't know where Seth Rollins was going to fit on this show. I was absolutely in the camp of there's no way this guy can come back and be a heel after he was all over social media being a loving father and a great husband to Becky Lynch, right? There's no way this guy's going to be looked at as a heel after all the baby pictures and all this shit. He's probably going to come back as a babyface. So we see Seth Rollins come out tonight, and he comes out to his babyface theme music. He didn't come out to his Messiah theme music. He came out to his babyface theme music. Now, the last time we seen Seth Rollins was in the Survivor Series. He was eliminated. He offered himself up as a sacrifice in the Survivor Series. Goodbye. Goodbye. So Seth Rollins is in the ring, and WWE had all of the locker room surrounding Seth Rollins for this promo. Now, who is Seth Rollins, and what has Seth Rollins done that he needed all of the attention of the locker room? I don't really understand it. WWE was simply rehashing what they did all those months ago with Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio when he belittled Rey for losing to Brock Lesnar at the Survivor Series in the year that Rey challenged Lesnar for the WWE title. And that Monday Night Raw, I believe, got swept from the Survivor Series. I believe it was in the year where they first debuted on Fox. So he had all the locker room out there, and he's smiling, and he's looking around, and he says, this just feels right. This is where he belongs. So a lot has changed since he sacrificed himself at the Survivor Series. He said, what has changed the most while he's been gone from WWE is me. He says, as most of them know, he recently had become a parent for the very first time. He said he is now the father of a beautiful baby girl, and she has changed his life in ways he couldn't have even dreamed of. And that change has given him a new perception, which has led to this new vision. So he looks around and the ring, and he sees these people, some of the most talented performers in the history of this business is what he sees. Said he wondered where he fits in now after all these months away. Said after a lot of self-reflection, the answer became clear to him. He said he is the great leader that SmackDown needs to push it into the future and make it the greatest it's ever been. He said success in leadership isn't what you can do for me, but what I could do for you. So let me get this straight. Roman Reigns is easily the biggest thing in all of this business right now on the run that he is on. And he hasn't even taken SmackDown to a point where it needs to be. What makes anybody believe Seth Rollins can do that for SmackDown? So either Seth is delusional or he's a delusional fucking idiot. If Roman can't do it, there's absolutely no chance on earth that Seth Rollins is going to take SmackDown into the future and have it be what it needs to be. So when he started getting all preachy and he started appointing himself as the leader, everybody just started leaving ringside. They were bored with his message. He said he can be their leader, their teacher, their father, their mentor. Even the heels began leaving. Buddy Murphy was out there. He left. Rey Mysterio. As if nothing happened between Rey and Dominik and Seth Rollins. Right? This guy tormented the Mysterio family for months. Tried to take Rey's eyeball. Standing out there listening to him talk. Right? Had dirt on his daughter. Just listening to this fucking geek talk in the ring. Right? All these problems that the Mysterios had with Seth Rollins. Now, it's no longer an issue. So, the heels left. They began heading to the back. It's easy, he said. All you have to do for a better tomorrow, a better SmackDown, all you have to do is embrace the vision. So, the only one that was left standing at ringside was Cesaro. Cesaro, of all people, was the only one who stood and listened to Seth. Seth smiled and said, I knew you would get it. I knew you would understand my vision. Of all the people. So Cesaro was mouthing off, shook his head. He didn't really know what he was saying, but he shook his head no. And then he started walking to the back as well. Seth was in the ring. He was a little disappointed. Then he quickly turned into angry. And Cesaro was walking up the ramp, and Rollins ran out of the ring, and he chop blocked Cesaro right on the ramp. So he took Cesaro's leg out from underneath him, from behind. He started to attack him aggressively, and he was upset. He was upset. Daniel Bryan comes out and makes the save. Seth retreated to the other side of the ring, and he was all red in the face, and he was all angry after Daniel Bryan saved his new buddy in Cesaro. Now, I'm disappointed. First of all, Rollins went from maybe being a babyface to solidifying that he's not turning babyface. He's still very much a heel. But he's got his new theme music back, his old theme music back. I don't know why they changed his theme music back from the Messiah theme. I actually quite enjoyed the Messiah theme. I think it fit Rollins' gimmick quite well. Maybe Vince McMahon forgot that he had a new theme and they just cued his original theme without thinking. I don't know. I think the old theme fits him better. If he's going to be heel, the old theme fits him better. The new theme is very much babyface. But I guess you could look at it either way. I guess the old theme could be heel as well. Whatever. He was a heel with that theme music, so I guess it really doesn't matter. There's really no preference. You could like the old one, you could like the new one, whatever. But as far as Seth Rollins goes, I'm disappointed in this because I thought we were over the Messiah gimmick. And when Seth Rollins attacked Cesaro and Daniel Bryan came out, it pretty much solidified that it's going to be Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And it was WWE telling all of us who want Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns in the Universal title match at WrestleMania that it's not going to happen. This is WWE telling each and every one of us that it's not going to happen. As soon as Daniel Bryan made that save, they just gave it all away. Now, where does Cesaro fit into all this? I have no idea. Cesaro's getting a renewed babyface push. I don't know how long it's going to last, but everybody's getting excited about Cesaro. I'm here to tell you, don't get excited about Cesaro. Please don't get excited about Cesaro because it's just WWE using him right now because there's nobody else on SmackDown right now. Cesaro is doing well. Cesaro is getting pushed because Daniel Bryan is advocating for Cesaro. If Daniel Bryan wasn't a part of the creative team, do you think we would be seeing Cesaro get pushed on SmackDown? The answer is no. Just like Nakamura. Everybody thought Nakamura was getting this renewed push. He won that gauntlet match. Yada, yada, yada. What happened? Cesaro got his old theme back. Everybody was excited. Maybe he challenges Roman. Maybe he challenges Roman in WrestleMania. Maybe he wins the Royal Rumble. People are dumb. You jumped the gun way too soon without thinking. Then you people get mad at me because it's not what you want to hear. But in the end, I'm going to be right anyway. So what the fuck are you getting mad at me for? I'm just telling you exactly what's going to happen. I'm telling you exactly what you're watching. Why the fuck you get mad at me for? Same thing's going to happen with Cesaro. Cesaro's not getting a WWE Universal title. He's not going to go on and beat Roman Reigns. He's in this thing to eventually be fed. Does he win the chamber? Maybe. Does he win the chamber and take Roman to the limit? Maybe. Does Daniel Bryan win the chamber and get fucked by Seth Rollins? Maybe. Maybe. I could see a situation where Cesaro wins the chamber, looks strong against Roman, and eventually loses. And then maybe Seth Rollins comes out and attacks Cesaro at that particular moment, aiding Roman Reigns, setting up a match between those two, and then Daniel Bryan somehow gets involved at Fastlane, and then that leads to Rollins and Bryan at WrestleMania. Or we just get Bryan winning the chamber, getting his win over Cesaro as they're the final two guys in the chamber. Bryan wins, gets his match with Roman. We get Rollins and Bryan coming out of that situation, because if Bryan's challenging Roman, gotta be a fuck finish. Rollins can aid Roman, then fuck Bryan over at the chamber. We get Rollins and Bryan at Fastlane, and then we get Bryan and Roman at Mania. One could dream. But it seems like WWE is going with Rollins and Bryan for WrestleMania. But the Elimination Chamber is pretty predictable. Bryan and Cesaro, more than likely, is going to come down to. So, Dave Meltzer discussed Cesaro's current direction on WWE TV. He reasoned why it will be much harder for WWE to do anything with him at this point after keeping him buried for so long. And you got to agree with Dave. It's very, very logical in what he discussed on The Observer. He says, and I quote, "The goal is to now try and do something with Cesaro, and it's hard after all these years. And it's hard because the guy's been there forever, and people in their minds have it out there in regards to Cesaro. Oh, he's a good worker, but he's not a top guy. And now, like 5 or 7 years ago, they could have made him into a top star. But now people see him in such a way where 5, 6, 7 years, the guy's been pretty much middle of the road, mid-card, and now all of a sudden you want to push him. People are not going to gravitate to him immediately as being a top guy, because all you did was suppress him for 5, 6, 7 years. So for those people to believe in him being a top guy, it's going to be more than just 3 weeks of wins over Daniel Bryan and a strong showing in the Elimination Chamber. Give me a break. Cesaro is there to feed Roman Reigns. Seriously. Now they're doing it with Cesaro, and they've already marginalized him for so long. It's not impossible to make it better, but it's a lot more difficult to elevate a guy after he's been in the middle or below the middle for 7 years than to do it in 1 year. But they're trying to do this now with Cesaro. I see no lies in Dave Meltzer's statement about Cesaro. Moving on here, man. After Rollins, we got Bayley versus Liv Morgan with Ruby Ryer. Bayley wins in 4 minutes. There's news on Bayley before we get into this match with Liv Morgan. Bayley, if you guys saw at the Royal Rumble, Bayley had, I guess, engraved or shaved her hair to spell out Cole. Michael Cole. She had C-O-L-E engraved or shaved in the back of her head. That was during Royal Rumble weekend. So Graves said that Bayley thought it would be a hilarious rib on Michael Cole. He explained this on After the Bell. It would be a hilarious rib towards Michael Cole. The only problem was that she did not know that Michael Cole would not be calling the Women's Royal Rumble match, so he was not at ringside when she walked out. Graves said this on After the Bell. Bayley thought it would be hilarious to rib Michael Cole by putting his name in the back of her hair, much like Ravishing Rick Rude used to put his opponent's face on his tights. I think that was the mentality. So we were in the barbershop that is at the Thunderdome earlier in the day, and I'm getting my hair lined up and my beard taken care of. Bayley walked in, and she started asking what should she put in the back of her hair. It's been a thing she's been doing recently. She's actually suggested the name Cole. I said, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's going to be really funny. I think it's going to be downright hysterical. I can't wait to see his face when he realizes what you did. About 3 hours later, I got a text from Cole, and it's a photo of him and Bayley, and it reminded that Cole was not calling the Women's Royal Rumble match. I did know that, but I didn't realize it at the time. It didn't register. We had a full-blown conversation about how hilarious it would be, and even I forgot that Cole was not going to be at ringside, so I encouraged Bayley to shave Michael Cole's name into the back of her head, basically for no one's entertainment but my own. Bayley was none too thrilled with that. So I thought that was rather humorous there. Hopefully Bayley is not too upset with Corey Graves. Corey Graves could be a sly motherfucker, man. Seriously. He's as sarcastic as he is on the microphone, away from the microphone. Bayley in the Royal Rumble, she was accidentally eliminated from the Royal Rumble match earlier than she was supposed to be eliminated. Now, if you guys recall, the cameras did not pick up on Bayley's elimination. I even mentioned it in the live stream review on the post show. I mean, Bayley was one of the rumored winners to win the Royal Rumble, and then when she was eliminated, it was treated as if she was fucking Billie Kay getting eliminated from the Royal Rumble. They didn't even show it. They made no acknowledgement of it when it happened. She just went over the top rope. Nobody's seen it happen. I don't even remember who she was eliminated by. PW Insiders reporting that Bayley wasn't actually supposed to be eliminated as early as she was in the match, which is why the cameras didn't pick up on her elimination. In asking about this, I was told, says Mike Johnson, that the only person that went out a little earlier than originally planned was Bayley in the women's match, and Ray was eliminated as planned. There's no word on when Bayley was actually slated to be eliminated, and if her early elimination greatly changed the original plans that WWE had for the match. I don't know if that will ever be reported. It may be one of those things that stands as the what if situations for the Royal Rumble. Now, there were reports that Rollins actually was eliminated via botch in the Royal Rumble. That he was not actually supposed to be eliminated, and WWE called an audible with Edge winning the Royal Rumble, and it was supposed to be Rollins winning the Royal Rumble. I don't know how factual those reports are, but that's what I heard as well. So WWE is going about Bianca and Rhea in the Royal Rumble. Bianca obviously won it. No matter if Bayley was eliminated early or not, I don't think that Bayley would have been there at the end, and I think the end was always supposed to be Bianca and Rhea Ripley. So whether she was eliminated early or not, I don't think it really made much of a difference for the overall ending of the Women's Rumble match. So we got Bayley versus Liv Morgan. This went 4 minutes. So Liv Morgan was in control here. Bayley raked Morgan's eyes behind the referee's back. She then gave Morgan a rose plant finisher for the win. Now, Billie Kay was out there, and she screwed up again. Billie Kay showed up with a stack of photos and her resume, and Ruby Ryer was outside cheering on Liv Morgan, and Ruby Ryer blew her off. Ruby Ryer grabbed the resumes and threw them into the air, some landing in the ring. This distracted Liv Morgan. Obviously, that's when Bayley raked Morgan's eyes and finished her off with the rose plant finisher, and that was it. That was it. Billie Kay proves to be a nuisance in and out of the ring. Get her off fucking television. Get her off television. She adds nothing of value to this show. And if you're fucking Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott up, I got a problem with that. Liv Morgan has come a long way. She's gotten a lot better. I don't know why WWE doesn't really get behind her. Same with Ruby Riott. Why is Ruby Riott not getting pushed? I got news on what Corey Graves said about the women's tag team division, or the lack thereof. The lackadaisical build for the women's tag team titles. What he said is absolutely 100% factual. And it would really be in the best interest of the WWE to get rid of the women's tag team titles. They offer nothing of value to the women's division. It's almost as if WWE created them out of sheer desperation to fit an agenda, and those who wanted the titles now don't give a shit about the titles. If you were so for the tag team titles, why aren't you for the tag team titles now, being that they are probably in the worst state they've ever been in? You asked for them. Where was this energy, or where is this energy when you first asked for them? Now. We need that same energy now. Look at how they're being booked. Nothing. Get rid of them. The Street Profits versus Otis and Chad Gable, because Otis, he needs to be in another tag team, right? Couldn't keep him with Tucker Knight. Had to give him Chad Gable. Street Profits win in 8 minutes. So we got Profits winning with Montez Ford, tagged in blindly, frog splash to Chad Gable. Not bad, but this is obviously leading to the Profits getting the tag team titles back. Otis and Gable, they don't seem to be working out as a team. Don't know why Otis is with Gable, but the frog splash looked beautiful on Chad Gable, and that was it. Montez Ford gets the win for the Street Profits in 8 minutes over Otis and Gable. Sasha Banks, she was in the ring. She walked out with the Street Profits leaving the ringside area. There was a nice little genuine moment with the Street Profits dancing with Sasha and Sasha dancing with the Street Profits. So she was in the ring. She talked about Bianca Belair. Everyone's talking about Bianca Belair, she says. She said she likes Belair a lot because she's like a big little sister. She said the EST has a big decision, and that is M-E, me. So Belair comes out to the stage, and she does her thing, and she gets in the ring, and she says she sees Sasha Banks. She says she's not the boss of her. She said this is her time, and she's enjoying every second of it. And then out comes Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax and her hole. Don't know why they were on this show, but we're going to try and make sense of it. Jax said that both of them are insufferable. Says a lot coming from the woman who a lot of people also thinks is insufferable. Her in-ring prowess is insufferable. And it's amazing their egos can fit in the ring together. She said nobody cares who Bianca is going to choose. Baszler said they beat Asuka and Charlotte at the Rumble to become 2-time women's tag team champions. She asked why no one was talking about them for beating Charlotte and Asuka. Well, listen, honey, let me tell you something, Shayna. I love you, but your titles are absolutely worthless. And nobody's talking about the women's tag team division because, let me tell you something, Shayna, there is no women's tag team division. It's all made up. It's all put together with fucking Scotch tape and Elmer's glue. There's no division. Why would we care about you winning the tag team titles from another team that isn't even a legit fucking tag team? They're just props to get you on television in an important role. Don't even know why they're out here. They replay what happened last week with Lana beating Jax and the whole situation. My hole, says Nia Jax. Back live, we had a brawl breaking out amongst the women. Belair dropped Jax, tailburn first on the ring apron. She didn't scream, my hole, this time. Back in the ring, Sasha kicked Baszler as Belair held her in place. Cole says he beats Jax and Baszler, or he wishes Jax and Baszler never walked out of here. And he also says that he don't know who Belair is choosing to face at WrestleMania. So he wished Jax and Baszler never walked out there in the first place. And then he also said Belair, she doesn't know who she's choosing at WrestleMania. I got a question. Why are we befriending Sasha and Bianca? I don't really know what WWE is planning here. It seems like Sasha is befriending Belair, and Belair is going along with it. I don't know why we're getting champion befriending challenger. I don't know why WWE teased Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Bianca and Sasha for the tag team titles when Naomi and Lana are first in line for those tag team titles. Then you got the winners of the Dusty Classic, which I'm assuming will be Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. So there are teams that are well ahead of Sasha and Bianca, if that is even a thought. But why is Sasha befriending and being kind and sweet and nice to Bianca? Because she's the newest ice cream flavor in the shop. Or is WWE teasing Sasha going heel on the road to WrestleMania, and we get heel Sasha versus a babyface Bianca? You know, a lot of people claimed, oh, well, JD wants Edge and Drew McIntyre. Well, they can't do that because it's face versus face. Meanwhile, you're looking at face versus face in Sasha versus Bianca, but you got no problem with that because that fits your agenda. That fits your narrative. Sasha and Bianca are both baby faces, but you got no problem with that. But when I said Edge and Drew McIntyre, you apparently have a problem with that one. How is it any different? They're both babyface duos. Edge and Drew, both babyface. Sasha, for now, and Bianca are baby faces. It doesn't push your narrative. I understand. I understand completely. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, I am not excited about anything going on. Bianca should have already chosen Sasha. I don't get NXT or Raw or this or that. She won the Royal Rumble from SmackDown. You get a SmackDown title shot. Honestly. Enough with the fucking teasing. Really. The Royal Rumble should be given to that respective brand's winner. It's just better all around. It's better for the winner of the Rumble. It's better for the champion. It's better for the championship. That's how I would do it. Enough of this fucking teasing back and forth. It means nothing. It actually makes people more impatient. There's no story behind it. WWE drags it out. Why do they drag it out? Because they have nothing else going on. They have no other desire to tell any stories or captivate in any other way. They feel like dragging this shit out for week after week after week is somehow going to get people to watch. It's not doing anything. Move on. Daniel Bryan and Cesaro versus Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler was the main event of the show. Not bad at all between these guys. Daniel Bryan got beat up for a little bit. And then he got the hot tag from Cesaro. Cesaro comes in. Late in the match, Ziggler landed a famous on Cesaro for a near fall. Graves said it has to be disheartening for Ziggler because he kicked out. Cesaro came back with a big Cesaro swing. And then he put the sharpshooter on Ziggler for the tap out victory. So we got Cesaro tapping out Daniel Bryan with the sharpshooter, beating Ziggler with the sharpshooter. Are we seeing a resurgence in the sharpshooter? For all these years, it's been nothing more than a fucking setup move. And now Cesaro is beating guys left and right with the goddamn sharpshooter. Somewhere Bret Hart is fucking smiling from ear to ear. It's great to see. Bryan and Cesaro earned their way into the Elimination Chamber. Jey Uso came from behind and attacked Cesaro with the steel chair as Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn also ran out and attacked Bryan at ringside. Sami and Corbin entered the ring and began stomping away at Cesaro and Bryan. Sami threw Corbin into the ring post, turning on his own partner during this fight. Bryan then took Sami down with a running knee. Kevin Owens ran out. Corbin was waiting for him to get in the ring. KO gave a stunner to Corbin, a stunner to Bryan, a stunner to Cesaro, and a stunner to Uso. Stunner. Stunner, 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 stunner. 4 stunners. Then they showed Reigns and Heyman watching backstage. Reigns appeared to be very angered. And Kevin Owens took a steel chair, the steel chair that Jey Uso used on Cesaro, set it up in the middle of the ring, sat down, yelled into the camera, "He's not going away. I will see you real soon." Meaning, I will see Roman Reigns real soon. Not a bad episode of SmackDown, but the little things that WWE has done to lazily get themselves into the Elimination Chamber angers me greatly. WWE could have avoided all this. There's no story. The story isn't there. It's not good storytelling. It's WWE pretty much telling you, hey guys, we don't have a fucking clue what we're doing at WrestleMania because the old man is flipping back and forth like a fucking remote control on a Wednesday night because he doesn't know what the fuck he wants to do. Not good. Sometimes it's best if you don't over-stress yourself and overthink yourself about what you need to do. Why is it that I could book logically and sensibly for the Elimination Chamber and WWE is struggling mightily with the most simplest of concepts? I don't really understand it. They try to make captivating television and all they do is create themselves to be, or they make themselves out to be captivating idiots. Look at this chamber card. Look at this potential spoiler on what looks to be a terrible Elimination Chamber card. Now, it's not confirmed. We got the 2 chamber matches and nothing else. Sasha Banks versus Carmella is rumored for the SmackDown Women's title. I mean, who else is challenging Sasha Banks? Unless they do Sasha and Bianca versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, which is new to me. There's going to be 2 other teams ahead of them for the tag team titles. Or maybe WWE is going to give the titles to Bianca and Sasha and just rehash the, hey, my challenger is my partner deal going into WrestleMania, and Sasha's going to turn on Bianca. Could be a possibility. Or WWE's thinking like I'm thinking, fuck, well, if the tag team titles are on Nia and Shayna, do we really want them going back down to NXT to do Raquel and Dakota? Because that's exactly what's going to end up being. When is that match going to happen? Will Nia and Shayna even be champions by the time we get that match? That doesn't really interest me whatsoever, even though the idea in WWE is probably exciting to them with Raquel Gonzalez and Nia Jax in the same ring. Maybe they give the titles to Bianca and Sasha and they go down to NXT and they challenge Raquel and Dakota. I can't see Naomi and Lana down in NXT either. None of these women belong in NXT. None of them. They would just make that division a joke just by their mere presence being down there. Lana, Naomi, Nia. Give me a break. Sasha and Carmella rumored to be at the Chamber. Dolph and Bobby Roode versus the Street Profits at the Chamber for the tag team titles. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax versus Lana and Naomi. Rumored. We don't know what's WWE's plan right now after SmackDown with Bianca and Sasha. And Big E versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental title. I don't know. Sounds like a fucking shitty SmackDown episode to me. That's your Elimination Chamber card. That is what you're putting on pay-per-view. That's the road to WrestleMania. If that doesn't show you WWE hasn't done a fucking thing creatively, I don't know what will. That is an awful fucking card. And none of those matches are confirmed. I'm just throwing fucking shit out there. 2 chamber matches and nothing else. Nothing else. And I got nothing else. That is the end of the live stream review here for SmackDown, bro. I mean, we got 1,455 in the chat, 632 likes. Hit those thumbs up, guys. Hit those thumbs up. And let's get it to 750, man. Live right here on YouTube. Super chats are open. Get them on in. Super chats are live. We're going to hang out and run through these as we get on out of here for your Friday night. Thanks again to everybody in the chat. Follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. That's Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. There's a lot of people that have not turned on the bell, man. There's only 26% of you that have turned on the bell for all notifications. Where are the other 74%? Fuck's wrong with you? You don't think I know? I know if you don't have the bell turned on. YouTube tells me. Turn the fucking bell on. Get AmazonMusic.com/scripts. Do it. Do it. It's free. You don't like free shit? What the fuck's wrong with you? Go get your free music. Go listen to Bad Bunny for free. And make sure you guys check out all the videos that you might have missed down below in the description. We got Jacob Donnelly with a $5 super chat. What's up, buddy? He says, I miss Aleister Black. Aleister Black, according to Ringside News, still has not even been mentioned once as far as creative in WWE. Not once. To this day, not once. Where is he? Did he get swallowed by Nia's hole? I don't know. Where is he? Thank you for the $5, Jacob. 1999. Thank you, Phil. WWE ruined the Chamber. The fact that the winner faces Reigns the same night is pointless. The Chamber, how would have done to determine his challenger for WrestleMania would be Bryan, Cesaro, Nakamura, Owens, Corbin, Rollins. Daniel Bryan winning. Sounds good to me. Bryan, yes. Cesaro, yes. Nakamura, yes. Owens, yes. Rollins, yes. Corbin, I guess so. And it all would have been done via qualifying matches. Big Wheezy, $2 super chat. I have a question. Do we need a pay-per-view every month? No. We don't need a pay-per-view every month. We didn't even need the Chamber. The WWE fucked up the Chamber. I'd rather there be no fucking Chamber. We don't need Fastlane. WWE thinks that the more the better. That's their mentality. Quantity over quality is their mentality. And that's one of the reasons why the product sucks. JT Golden, $1.99. JD for creative. I agree, but I would never give my talents to Vince McMahon because I'd be more gray in the beard than I am now. And I don't want to do that. Big Ben, $24.93 with a $2 super chat. Hey, JD, how'd you become a Braves fan? Cheers. 1990, Dad bought some baseball cards for me because I was interested in his baseball card collection. So he bought me some Don Ross baseball cards. And in that, I got a David Justice rookie card. David Justice was a big prospect for the Atlanta Braves. He told me it was going to be worth a lot of money in that particular time frame when I was growing up collecting cards. It was. Now it's worthless. But when he told me that, I treasured it as a young kid and I became a Braves fan. Quite the interesting tale. Jeremy Thomas with a $24.99 super chat. What's up, JD? Hope all is well. Who would you like to see take the title off of Roman? Now, this is years in the making, but I feel like someone new will need to be built up to overthrow the tribal chief. Jeremy, to answer your question, nobody on the main roster. Nobody on the main roster. Not Big E, not Seth Rollins, not Edge, not Drew McIntyre, not Braun Strowman. Maybe it's an Adam Cole. Maybe it's a Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know. Or maybe it's somebody that's not even in WWE right now. Paul Wu with a $3.50 super chat. Thank you, Paul Wu. I love the interview, JD. You are so entertaining. I know. Thank you for telling me something I already know, Paul Wu. I appreciate it. Hollywood Guy, $5 super chat. Why did SmackDown have qualifying matches for the Chamber and Raw didn't? Because Bruce is a fucking idiot. That's why. I'm starting to believe Bruce has nothing to do with SmackDown. It might be some other fucking idiot that's writing SmackDown who's moderately dumb, but not as dumb as Bruce Pritchard. Oh, but Bruce doesn't write the show. It's all Vince McMahon. What, Vince McMahon 2.0? You got two Vince McMahons running the fucking show. Vince number 1 and then Vince number 2. Kenley Pierre with a $5 super chat. Take away Ciampa, who is the best heel in the past decade. Also, JD, this is a tough one for you. Who would put over Adam Cole or Kenny Omega? Who would I put over, Adam Cole or Kenny Omega, if they were in a match? Adam Cole. And who was the best heel in WWE the past decade? Take Ciampa away? Randy Orton. Maurice Lionheart Jackson. $1.99 super chat. The CNC looks like it's going to be interesting. You better fucking believe it, Maurice. Me and Haj ain't fucking around, bro. Kelly Yamaguchi. $10 super chat. What's up, Kelly? In the words of Godsmack's whatever track, you better go away. To Billy Kay, Charlotte Flair, Baron Corbin, Dana Brooke, Lana, Leon Ruff, Lacey Evans, and Nia Jax. Dana Brooke needs to go back to catering. No question. JD23. It's like WWE thinks having Edge and Bianca waiting to announce their opponents is drawing interest. What's with WWE having Sasha flirt with Reginald? Is that what she's doing, flirting with Reginald? Sasha just seems like a woman seeming to get her way or looking to get her way. I don't see that as flirting. I don't think Mikaze would appreciate that. He'd fuck Reginald up. Clown. Not you, JD, but Reginald's the clown. Thank you for $5, man. Joe Flip. For $4.99, he's got a little chicken emoji doing some workout motion. Keep it up, he says. Thank you, Joe Flip. Prince, $4.99. What's up, JD? I'm a big fan of Naomi, and I hate that she is in this tag team. Why is it so hard to have her in a singles feud? And how about Edge versus nobody? Naomi's good. WWE doesn't trust Naomi. I don't know why. But look at the makeshift tag teams. It went from Lana Asuka to Lana and Naomi. We got Charlotte Flair and Asuka as a makeshift tag team. There's no legit tag teams in the division. The makeshift tag teams are doing nothing but hurting the division. The Riot Squad are the only legit tag team in the division, and WWE is not even pushing them towards the titles. Then they took the Iconics. No matter how terrible they were a legit team, and WWE broke them up to put Peyton Royce in a fucking tag team with Lacey Evans that now is no longer together because Lacey is parading around with Ric Flair, teasing winning the Raw Women's title. Shayna and Nia are not a tag team. It's not doing anything. We need legit tag teams that look the same, dress the same, feel like a team. None of these women feel like a team. And again, I ask, whoever wanted these titles so badly, where are they now? Showing that same energy. How could you sit by and just watch these titles deteriorate into basically nothing? The women's tag team titles need to be abolished. And I don't say that because I don't like women's wrestling. I say it because it's actually making everything a lot worse. It really is. JDE with a $5 super chat. Much love, brother, he says. This show felt uneventful, already having drawbacks as it is because a lot of it feels cluttered and forced. Of course it feels cluttered and forced, man. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's what happens when you don't have a solid idea and stick to solid ideas. Derek Davis, I'm sorry. Derek Davis, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, man. He says nothing. What happened, man? No comment? Thank you for the super chat. And Paul Shaw with a $5 super chat. Paul Shaw also goes silent and says absolutely nothing. I appreciate you, Derek, and I appreciate you, Paul. Don't be shy around me, man. Come on. That's all I got, guys. Slow night. It's a slow night for SmackDown, slow night for Super Chats. Where's Edgar? Huh? Did Edgar fall asleep? I won't be surprised. My boy Edgar Estrada. Anyway. I'm getting out of here, guys. I am physically and mentally drained. SmackDown was lackluster tonight. And I will be back tomorrow with OTS 364, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. There really is no big news this week. I may just go into it blind and just give a random fucking news podcast. I have no idea what I'm doing, man. I feel like Bruce Pritchard on a Friday night. But thank you guys so very much, man. Hit that thumbs up. Seriously, hit that thumbs up. Helps out the channel, helps out the video. If you're new around here and you just caught the stream for the first time, hit that subscribe button, man. I know there's something on this show you liked. I know there's something on this show you appreciate. There he is. Look at this fucking guy. Look at this guy, man. Happy Friday, Goons. Edgar with a $50 super chat. JD, you're so damn good you killed my phone while I was painting. Damn, bro. What you talked about earlier, I'm not a Roman fan, but he's killing it. Booker has some ridiculous thoughts on his show. Have a great weekend, bro. OTS for life. Look at this shit. Look at these guys, man. Jericho, 8131. They are apparently considering Goldberg versus Matt Riddle at Mania. Thought if it happens, I would love it. I'm actually all for that match. Matt Riddle has to win, no question. And the Pro Wrestling Podcast with a $50 super chat says, love you, man. I love you right back. The Pro Wrestling Podcast. Awesome, guys. Edgar, thank you so much, my brother. Jericho and the Pro Wrestling Podcast getting those late super chats in. Guys, follow me on Twitter at JDfromNY206. Twitter and Instagram. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for notifications. Get Amazon Music. .com/scripts and go check out JD on the Pounding the Meat podcast with Vinny Vegas. I'll leave you guys a link down in the comment section when this posts to YouTube. Well, you know what time it is, guys. It's fucking cold outside. And the Mustang is kind of dirty. I don't like it. But the windows are going to be down. You're going to know it's me coming at you. Because the windows are going to be down. That music is going to be on full blast. I want you guys to give me those guitar emojis in the chat. And I will see you guys on Off the Script Saturday and then TakeOver on Sunday. I will see you guys this weekend. Take care, everybody.